welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk about polyamory this time and my opinion about the subject and how it worked for me, and am I polyamorous, am I monogamous, or am I something in between? Is there something in between, and what's the story? So I'm not gonna go into polyamory a lot. You can go and check what Google says about polyamory. Let's see. Polyamory, meaning many, several, and Latin love, is a practice of or desire for intimate relationship with more than one partner. Sounds very simple, but in reality is very complicated, and there are so many people around the globe that are practicing polyamory in one way or another, and they're happy or not happy. I'm kind of a member of a lot of polyamorous Facebook groups, and I know a lot of people that are practicing polyamory like in everyday life for like long or short period, and I myself have been into it but not entirely for a lot of years and this is what I've learned. So for me, the question of having multiple partners it might be a bit different than from other people, but for me to emotionally connect with someone requires time and effort on both sides. So I am not a person that's gonna open up in like 1 second to everyone, and I literally need time. And I'm also a person that's not very comfortable in sharing things and doing stuff with a lot of like people that I don't know. So a lot of people, actually what they consider polyamory is swinging, and that's an entire story altogether. So I am not into this lifestyle for sex. Like, this is not the thing that is so very important to me. It is and it isn't, you know, like it's not the basis of my desire to be polyamorous. I can also be polyamorous and be with only one person for a long time, and it doesn't bother me. I don't have this thing where I require more than one person to be happy. I don't really. But I do have this thing that sometimes I may fall in love with more than one person, and I would be happy in sharing my partners. And I was in a kind of relationships where I had another person in my relationship, and it was like a throuple, and I was very happy with it. But you see, sometimes it's not only a matter of doing something you like, it's also about who are you doing it with. And the people that I found kind of didn't match up with what I wanted. Maybe they wanted something different. And the other thing is like meeting a lot of polyamorous people, sometimes honestly they're not really polyamorous, they just want to have multiple partners to have sex with, and it's just not my cup of tea. I can have sex without emotions, but it's just not fulfilling for me. It's just a thing that I do, but it's a thing that I don't feel. I tried it a couple of times, but it just didn't work out for me. For me, it's very important to have a real connection with someone before I actually go and sleep with that person. It's my kind of polyamory. What I've learned throughout the years, because ever since I was a teenager, I kind of thought that I'm not going to be able to be with one person. So I realized after a while that most of this stuff is my traumas from childhood, where I wasn't ready to actually connect to anyone because I was afraid of people trying to own me, to, you know, like kind of possess me. And I was afraid if I'm only with one person, that one person is gonna try to enslave me. And I was watching a relationship like that. I honestly didn't like it. And so I had this dream that I'm gonna have like a couple of multiple partners, or in the worst case scenario, I'm gonna be like just a fucking miserable cheater. And this is where I kind of found my own security in just like having multiple people. But then after going through therapy and kind of finally getting to know myself, I realized that, you know, I don't really need multiple people to be happy, just to have more than one. I need right people to be happy, even if it's one person. And I'm in a relationship for like last 10 years with one person, and we did date some other people, but mostly what I realized is like I could only be with him. If he wanted me to never date another person except for him for the rest of our lives, I could be that, and I would still be polyamorous, because I know that there is a part of me that can be happy with, ideally for me, 2 people. And it's funny, I'm always thinking about how do you become what you actually are. And I was thinking, so my ideal relationship would be with another woman and another man, and it's kind of like if we are all together. It's like I know it sounds like unicorn hunting, but it's not really. That would be my ideal relationship. I'm not the kind of person that looks for 2 guys. It's not my cup of tea. It's too much masculine energy, and I feel like they would be playing video games and I would be bringing them coffee. And looking at my childhood, when I think of like, because I grew up with my mom and dad and my brother, so it was 3 of them. When I think about my relationship with, if my dad and my brother were, and just me, I would be awful. I just like, no. My nicest and best memories in my childhood started from my mom and dad and me being together in the time when their relationship still was fine. So in that time, this kind of energy became a safe spot. I believe that who we are today it flourishes out of our family traumas. And I think whatever kind of sense of security do you learn to have is the thing that you will look for when you're a grown-up. So I went off the topic again. Oh my god, I'm so horrible. For me, being polyamorous only means that I am capable of loving multiple partners at the same time with the same passion and dedication. And I am able to do that. And I think we all are. But some people don't want that. Some people only want to have partnership with one person. And I was watching a video by Teal Swan that she did on polyamory, and she said that polyamory is kind of future of the mankind, because the more we're opening ourselves in our heart area, the more we're capable of giving ourselves to more than one person. And sometimes I feel like that if I am in the right space, if I am in the right energy, if I am who I am, when I open myself up, I have enough for so many people. And like giving it all to one person sometimes doesn't feel right. And it's also a question of personal freedom. Like the way we are raised is to believe that there is only one way, it's only one way to love one person, and to be married to that person, to have kids and to grow old and die. And sometimes, like, if you start really exploring different options and perspectives, you can actually do so many things. Some people even consider themselves polyamorous in a way that their heart is reserved for only one person, but then they want to have sex with multiple people. which is fine as well. I think sometimes what I've learned about my relationship with polyamory is sometimes you think something will work, but then in reality you realize that it's not that easy, or that you become jealous, or that you don't really like what you thought you will like. I was always dreaming about taking in another female into my relationship, but sometimes it's not a right match. Sometimes it's just, it's not just about the scenario, it's about what feels good. And I've been following what feels good for a while now, and I don't know, exploring your sexuality, it's easier when you open yourself up to more than one person. Because let's be honest, okay? Let's put it like this. There is a sack of potatoes, and there's another sack of potatoes, and these two sacks of potatoes is you and your partner and your sexuality. So you take out one potato by another from the sack, and after a while there's nothing in the sack left. So you pretty much know each other pretty good, and if you don't educate yourself in a matter of sexuality, there is nothing left in the sack. So after like 10-15 years, you already know everything about each other, and to a point where you would actually have to look for something out of your relationship. So look, sometimes that can be a book, sometimes that can be a sex coach, sometimes that can be a documentary, or something that you will learn, like a skill. But the problem is that most of relationships, they don't learn anything new. It's because sex is just sex. It's nothing important. And relationship, nobody teaches us how to have a relationship with another person, which is not right. And sometimes opening up your relationships, it has an effect on a relationship where people fall in love with each other more, because now they can actually take something from another relationship and bring it into their primary partnership. In a lot of relationships, what I've learned through actually observing different relationships, I found that this sometimes helps. Sometimes it helps, like sometimes it destroys the relationship. It depends how healthy the relationship really is. And it's the same with polyamory. If your partner comes to you and says like, oh, I wanna open up our relationship, I'm polyamorous, you definitely should talk with that person and see whether they were always polyamorous, if they just didn't know that polyamory exists, or they were too embarrassed, too ashamed to actually admit it. And you should actually see, is this because that person is bored with you? This is a very, very slippery road to take and to talk about these things, but people sometimes do get bored with their partners, and it's not because a person is boring, it's because the relationship becomes boring. There is nothing new in it, there is nothing exciting anymore to explore, especially after a while. And then you can see people looking at other people and the relationship becomes bitter. I didn't talk a lot about my polyamory. I just basically, what I wanted to say is that yeah, I do feel like I am polyamorous, but no, I don't really have to practice it until I do feel like there is the right person here for that. So I am not a person that is kind of desperate and will be looking around just for the perfect person to just fulfill my relationship or something. I feel like my relationship is full, and I feel like my relationship is amazing, and I don't really need anyone to make it better. But if a person comes by and I feel like that person is right, and that person feels like I am right, yeah, why not? And for me it's all an emotional thing. It's all like a thing from the heart. If my heart feels like it wants to open up to someone, it will, but it's not gonna be something that needs to be. Thank you guys for watching this channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do like it, please do subscribe and leave a comment underneath, and I love you so much.